Well, I told you that I was going to Italy. You didn't believe me. Well, that, obviously, them buildings there ain't in Corsham, right? So you probably get the idea, like, maybe Bert has gone to Italy. Well, there he is, look. Yeah, in the background, right, you can see the old church steeple there. That ain't Chippenham and it ain't Corsham, right? Anyway, so one. I come over here, right, on the invitation of, like, Italians were curious, like, about, they heard about Bert, like, he's a gardener. Obviously, Italians, Italian gardens got a certain reputation, like, But, they're curious about the English garden, So, obviously, I didn't want to, like, disabuse them of their notions about me. Like, I don't know nothing about garden design. I don't know nothing much about gardening, to be honest. Like, well, no, that's not true. I'm just sort of doing myself down a little bit. Anyway, what have we got here? Like, a little patch of land, like, if you can see it in the background. It's like they said, like, Bert, do something with this. Like, what would you do with it? Like, would you turn it into an English garden? Like, you know what I mean? So I've come over here. Like, they paid me expenses on that. And it's all going to be going online and that. But obviously they were quite curious about me. Like this, they want to know where I'm from. Like, Bert, where are you from? Your city. What is your city? So I tell them, like, it's not a city. I come from a place called Corsham in Wiltshire, like, of course, they don't understand it when I was speaking. Like, they've done a bit of English, like, a bit of English at school, like, because you don't understand me when I'm talking, like, so I wrote it down for them, like, Wiltshire, like, Wiltshire. Oh, Bert, you can describe the Wiltshire for us. Is the city, nice city, is the region. And your city is a Corsham. Fucking hell, get over that, like, get over the language difficulties, right? So, like, it's difficult to describe it to them because, like, over here, it's, like, totally different, like, their life's totally different, everything's totally different. So, obviously Wiltshire, right? People in Britain, oh, Wiltshire, isn't it lovely, got Stonehenge, you got the white horses, and, like, these little villages, you got Laycock and Biddiston and all that, Castle Combe. And all those, Castle Combe, like, I think much of bloody Castle Combe, it's like it's a bloody being built by Disney, innit? Like, Disney, part of Disney World, anyway. The rich bastards live there. I never done no gardens in Castle Combe, funny enough. Anyway, so I describe Wiltshire, so you've got to paint, like, what I'm supposed to do, paint like a realistic picture of Wiltshire, like, it's like, dear oh dear, like, it might sound, you actually tell them what Wiltshire's actually like, you know what I mean? Bloody hell. Yeah, it's got Stonehenge, it's got, like, pretty villages and all that. But basically, what Wiltshire is like, the reality of Wiltshire, right? I mean, Corsham, right? Actually, Corsham, not too bad if you think about on the general scale of, like, towns in Wiltshire, like, But forget about Swindon. I mean, Swindon, that's bloody Afghanistan over there, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? But, you got places like Chippenham, right? Chippenham and Cowan, Melksham, Trowbridge, Westbury, Warminster, and them other places. Like, I mean, that's the Wild West. Like, you can't live there anymore. You can't live in them towns. Like even all the middle class people, right? They've all moved out to the suburbs. Like, they all live in these, like, big houses. All these big houses, like the outside, the professional classes. That's the one I'm trying to aspire to join. Like, Bert's like Renaissance. Bert wants to become middle class. Like, I'm going for it. Like, give it a try. See if I get accepted. They said don't keep your hopes up, like, because, like, you got to talk different. Like, got to talk like, like Priscilla. She's got horses and that. So I need to telling these people over here about Wiltshire, like, it's like, oh dear, like, I can't tell them the truth about Wiltshire, It's like, oh, yeah, Wiltshire, like, it's got these white horses. You've got white horses. Then you've got to, like, tell them that, these white horses not running about, like, they're, like, carved into the hillsides out of chalk, like, you know what I mean? And then you got, you got Stonehenge and all that, like, Stonehenge. So you got to, like, paint this picture of Wiltshire, but Wiltshire is like, you know, I don't know if any of you have ever been to like Westbury or Trowbridge or Melksham on Saturday night, or even any time of the day. Like, I mean, there's like most of the British bloody towns, it's full of like chavs and knobheads, all smoking, like all vaping and like all on bloody spice and smoking bloody skunk and all pissed out their heads all the time, and like just like the scum of the earth, pond life, right? Wiltshire's got, most people in Wiltshire are just pond life, right? Well, I can't tell him that, you know, but that's the reality of it. So you know what I mean. Bert, I got to sort, you know, I got to sort of use me, I got to use me empathic abilities to sort of like modify the impression. Otherwise, like if you told them what it was like, they probably think you were like them. Like you think, oh, he comes from this like terrible place, like Glasgow or Birmingham or something, like, you know. Like I said before, you don't tell them about Swindon because like that ain't Wiltshire. Like I say, that's frigging like, you know what that's like over there, right? Just like Birmingham, innit? Birmingham or bloody, you know, one of them places, Doncaster or like Todmorden, no, so it's full of like, you know what I mean? People of different ethnic persuasions. Anyway, like I said, this has gone on too long. I think probably because I talk too much, right? But like here we are in Italy, so you know, they asked me to come over here. See, a lot of people don't believe me. Like, if they, Bert, you're just having us on about all this bloody, you know, new you and all that, the Renaissance Bert and all the international travelling and that. I come over here on a private jet. Well, a private jet, it was like a little jet. It was only me on it and a couple of other girls like serving me cocktails and that. And yeah. So anyway, next up on the Bert channel will be Bert talking about religion, Bert talking about drugs, Bert talking about Brexit, Bert talking about global warming. I've had a lot of people ask me about that. Bert, what do you think about global warming? Well, you know, yeah, you can't give a simple answer to that. Like, but anyway, so this is Uncle Bert. Uncle Bert, what do you do? Bloody Uncle Bert. I'm the gardener formerly known as Bert in Italy, and it's back to the studio.